It's Tuesday, April 4th, 2012. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Fuck It, it's PAX. Let's just go.
Okay.
Now. PAX is coming. This is the last show you'll get until we recover from PAX.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Angry Birds, space, and PAX.
Space.
Space.
Obligatory space joke, which we don't do that kind of joke too often because it's
But it's actually
dumb.
relevant. It's like if...
It's relevant but dumb and not funny unless you're like a 12-year-old in an anime convention.
Let's do
this.
It's like if the cake was actually a lie. Like someone says, "Hey, you want to come over? I've got cake," and you get there and there's no cake.
You go to the bakery and they say, "Here's a cake." They give you a box. You open the box, poop.
Or cupcakes or pie. They give you a pie by accident. Those are the points where you can say the cake was a lie and it's okay.
Yep.
It may not be funny, but it's okay to say it.
Almost okay. Anyway.
Now, the only time it's bad is if you're that guy, you're standing in line at a con, and a guy behind you is like, the cake is a lie. It's like, that's the most social currency that guy's got. You realize that he just entered with his high note.
Yep. So anyway, because it's PAX, there's pretty much no game news because everyone's holding on to their game news until PAX, and it would be redundant to discuss any PAX news before the PAX part of the show in the news part. So all I got for you today is I'm going to GeekBite previous thing I've discussed in the show, which is that new tabletop internet TV show.
That is so
thing.
barely a step above my idea of making the news about PAX.
I know, but it's still above. It is above.
I will give you that.
Anyway, so I watched the first episode, which just came out. Apparently, this is going to be a monthly thing. It was Will Wheaton, a guy.
I believe you mean Will Wheaton.
Sure, whatever. Some guy from Mythbusters, but it wasn't the two Mythbusters guys. It was one of the other guys.
Do you know the names of anyone on Mythbusters? I'm just
bald
curious.
Mustache guy.
Yeah, names. Just curious.
Mythbusters, other guy who I can recognize.
Okay, just checking.
But I can't describe. Anyway, the Mythbusters girl who I wouldn't recognize if I bumped into her on the street.
Nah.
Anyway, some dude who was like a StarCraft commentator, and this girl who I forget what she does, but she's internety and nerdy in some way. Anyway, her name was Jenna. I remember her name, though. I don't remember the other guys' names except for Will Wheaton because I've seen him in person. Anyway, so these four people get around and they play a game of Small World, right? Relatively high production values, much better than us. It's not, say, TV quality, necessarily, but it's, I guess it's like cable TV quality for like middle of the day on Sunday kind of thing. It definitely does a good job of selling the game. It felt like it did a good job of explaining the game to like someone who had never seen Small World in their lives before, but that my view on that is tainted because I already know how to play Small World. So I don't know what it would have seemed like with someone who didn't understand the game at all and never seen it before. Would they understand it watching the show? I don't know. They don't show you the entire playthrough because that would take a while, right? And this show's only a half hour. They sort of just show you the highlights. They also did some stuff like they put some pandemic pawns on the board so that, to highlight the areas where the action is, because if you just looked at the board and you weren't knowledgeable, you might not know where the hot
you know what all that
spots
stuff
are.
is because we tried to do some, do a thing and film it and then make footage after the fact once in the past, and it was a disaster. And then we watched Hodgman do a thing and we realized that it takes so much like fakery and repeats and effort and bullshit to make any amount of reasonable video come out of any even reasonably live event.
Yep.
So it's that kind of stuff. You have to do that.
Yep. So anyway, so they played a game of Small World. They explained the Small World pretty well as they were playing. They explained the moves as they were making them, why they were making the moves. They had a lot of sidebars, those kind of things they do in reality shows where it cuts away from the action and you see just one person talking to the camera like, yeah, it's like they got interviewed, but you don't hear the questions. It's like, yeah, I made that move because blah, 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 right? Overall, I think the show is, like if you're someone who is nerdy, but you are not into the German games, you're the kind of person who likes, the sci-fis and the TV shows and whatever, all this stuff that I don't like. This might do a good job of getting those people into board games. And for that, I think this is a good thing for it to exist. But as someone who is a hardcore already board gamer, there's really no reason for me to watch the show because it's not teaching me anything. I already know how to play this game, right? It's not really that funny because it seems like all the jokes they're making and all the table talk is somewhat genuine, but also somewhat forced. Because they know they're on camera. It's not that sort of natural table talk you get. There's also no smack talk. Like, all their smack talk is generally like, it's very lighthearted and friendly.
I really feel like we got enough cameras now.
I think the major difference, right, is like when we smack talk, it's like winner can gloat and everyone else shame. Second place is the first loser. Whereas they were sort of like there was a winner, but they sort of had a everyone's a winner attitude. Like the girl was like, girl was like, at least I beat you. Ha 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 ha. Like, she was feeling good even though she lost.
Yeah, I do that.
I don't do that.
I feel good if I'm in second place.
No.
But
second place is the first loser.
But I know someone on the internet, I have not seen the video yet, said that they fucked up a rule and that the person who won the game only won because of that fuck up.
I didn't pay that close attention.
So the ghouls apparently don't get to attack if they do their decline thing.
That's true.
But he attacked and declined.
Oh, see, actually, I remember specifically that part where he ghouled it up and that someone had mentioned, oh, man, ghouls are awesome. That's what you're supposed to do with them. And the guy was like, oh, I didn't even know that was what you were supposed to do with ghouls. I just sort of, and he was like, no, that's exactly the way to use the ghouls for awesomeness. But I didn't actually pay attention to what he did.
That's not how the rules are.
That's sort of a fail. If you're making a show about a board game,
I heard
you can't
this.
mess
Like
up
I
a
said,
rule.
I did not see the episode yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I don't remember. I also didn't pay that close attention. I just remember that part. And also they weren't playing hard to win. It's like they were playing kinda to win, but not hard to win the way we play hard to win. So if you're looking for like a competitive thing where you can root for someone to win, which is sort of what I kind of want, which is what someone like me would be interested in, this is not that. This is for the nerd who is not already a board gaming nerd to make you a board gaming nerd and maybe to sell you some games. In that way, it does a good job.
Now, what I would love to see is an episode of this. If it goes on for a while and is popular, I'd love them to get a group of actually hardcore board gamers. Yeah. Just to see what that looks like.
I think they're mostly powering it with the nerd fame of the participants.
Which is fine. I mean, think about it.
Which gets the viewership to sell the games, which is good.
Oh my God, if this goes well, I mean, imagine if they get like Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, and they're basically targeting the exact right group. The people who are in nerdery, they're close to board game nerds, but they're not in board game nerds. Some Star Trek guy is close to board game nerdery. He's not far off. We're not reaching out to, some guy at a NASCAR thing, right? We're reaching out to someone who's close to board game nerdery but is not there yet and trying to bring them in, and that's what the show's good for. I was slightly pissed off about one thing, which was, I don't know if this is just an honest portrayal of the girl on the show or if it was just, the way she was portrayed, but she seemed kind of bleh in the show. Like, she was like, they showed her, like, because it's edited, right? Once she made a comment like, ooh, I'll take the sorcerers because I like to be a magic user. And but all the other guys are making comments like, I did this because I'll get points that way. It's like whenever they cut to a guy, they were commenting on why they made a strategy to win. When they cut to the girl, she was like, I was glad I got to use the dragon. Yeah.
I hope sincerely that was just the way the conversations went and it was not clever editing.
Yeah, so
that would actually be the worst possible thing if that was just clever editing.
Yeah, and the girl also got the lowest score. She wasn't that much lower.
Well, obviously, listen to how she was playing.
Right, but it's like, was that person, right? This Jenna girl, who I don't, remember what she does, but she's some internet famous nerd. Was she just not, she was, newer to the game than the other people, obviously. But it's like, was she just that way? And that was honest portrayal? Or was it,
Well, there's a couple of possibilities. Was she playing a persona?
That's also true.
Or was it edited to make her look like that?
I think that, and it's like, it can't, unless it was edited by, someone to make it look like that, it's obviously not sexist. It especially could be an honest portrayal of her, but in which case, maybe not have people like that representing the ladies. Get someone on there who's gonna.
Yeah, can you imagine Ro on a show like that?
Exactly, Ro.
Bitches, what the fuck?
Well,
give me that motherfucking cocoa bean.
That's right. You get Nuri on there, right? Nuri, the girls we know are not like that. The girls we know are like, would smack you down and take all them points. Right, so that's right. And I know there are some semi-famous nerd girls who are like that. Like Veronica Belmont's pretty hardcore, and I'm pretty sure she'll be on the show at some point.
Well, let's do our, this is really shit talk. One of our board game nights when it's just the hardcore people, or maybe at PAX, I'll get some video of what the FRC, the real FRC is actually like.
Yeah,
playing
let's
a board
film like
game.
an entire game of something that's not Eclipse. Right.
We got enough hard drive space for Eclipse. Almost.
I'm just saying, we don't have enough battery power for Eclipse. Let's get like a 1 hour game and film it, and
Here's the two games I
something
would
like
do.
Agricola, Puerto Rico size.
I would do Puerto Rico and Bonanza because they show two different kinds of games. Because I'm not yelling at the top of my lungs at Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I don't want to film something that's like, soft, like Apples to Apples or Dixit. I want to film something that's a hard game, a strategy of winning, but isn't too long.
Is Dixit often soft?
Yeah, Dixits are pretty soft.
So I got to preface my news because there's a lot to say here, and it's unfortunate that the article about it appeared on April 1st, but I'm assuming it's not an April Fool's. But anyway, so you may or may not, if you play chess, be familiar with the King's Gambit. It's one of the openings of chess.
I was not familiar with it. I know how to play chess, but I'm not familiar with any of the strategies
I was in a weird situation that
or anything like that.
I don't enjoy chess,
Neither
but
do
I don't enjoy it for the same...
I don't hate it, but I don't go out of my way to play it.
Yeah, I don't enjoy chess for the same reason I don't enjoy RTSs or necessarily Street Fighter 4.
I reinstalled StarCraft. I'm going to give it another go.
I'm not I'm not at that level. I haven't memorized enough stuff, but I know enough to be dangerous because when I was in high school, one of my friends was a straight up chess master, and I played with him like all the time. I don't think I ever fucking beat him, but I learned a lot. And I'd often actually start with a Polish opening. But the King's Gambit, and I'm going to link to a bunch of stuff. You can actually step through what the King's Gambit is. And actually, Wikipedia, you know what? I'm going to read what Wikipedia says because it says it better than I can. The King's Gambit was one of the most popular openings for over 300 years in chess. Has been played by many of its strongest players. Blah, 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 blah. There's a whole bunch of people writing about it. And basically, this was a very popular opening until Bobby Fischer, who, if you don't know who he is, that's a whole other...
Let's not discuss that now.
Let's just say that that's a rabbit hole you can follow on Wikipedia.
You can watch the movie.
So Bobby Fischer, interesting dude, published an article...
Interesting.
A bust to the King's Gambit, in which he basically said... It's stupid. Don't do it. It always loses. And there's a lot of arguments back and forth. So a dude, Vasek Rajlik, claims to have a weak proof that it is, in fact, a losing gamble for white. The actual King's Gambit is pretty straightforward. So what you do is white moves... I won't use chess terminology in case you guys don't know what that means. He takes the pawn in front of his king, moves it up 2.
Okay.
If black wants to accept the gambit, they take their black pawn in front of their king and put him 2 spaces forward.
Would it be in front of the queen? Because they're on the opposite side?
No, they're not.
Yes? Yeah. Have I been setting up chessboards wrong? My whole life? I think I have. Okay, so I think I just discovered that I've been setting up chessboards wrong my whole life.
You were so genuinely startled that I had to second guess myself.
Now I haven't played chess in so long, so I don't even know if it's accurate. Like, if it's just my memory is fucked up. But I'm pretty sure my whole life I've set up chessboards where the queen is opposite the king and vice versa, so it's symmetric. But this one has both kings on one side and it must be correct if it's on Wikipedia. With both kings on the right and both queens on the left. Now I don't even remember if I've been playing right or wrong.
That's amazing. Scott, here is a picture of a chessboard.
But if you asked me to set up a chessboard today, I would have set it up not according to that picture. So yeah.
And that's
something.
That's something indeed.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Yeah,
but the thing is, right? Why not play it that way?
All right. So the queen now is facing the other person's king.
But your queen is also facing the other person's king also.
Yeah. So the game devolves immediately. In fact, it's probably pretty directly solvable if the game's like that. I think that cuts down on the decision tree to a ludicrous... Anyway.
Let's experiment.
That was... So, the King's Gambit. So you take the pawn in front of your king, put him up 2. The other person puts their pawn in front of their king, up 2. Yep. Pawn against pawn.
Pawn against pawn.
White then moves the pawn to the right in front of their white bishop, up 2.
So
Now-
so this situation only happens if both players agree and do those 3 moves. If
It's
anyone
kind of like if I
If
do
anyone
a Hadouken
deviates-
and
yeah.
you block it in a way that I know you're gonna block it, and we get into this pattern.
Right, so if anyone deviates from this at all in any way, then everything it doesn't matter. It's not
Yeah.
the King's Gambit.
So a lot of people, chess, unlike checkers has a weak mathematical solution from many years ago, and it'll probably have a complete mathematical solution soon. Both sides can force a draw, so fuck checkers. Done game. But anyway, chess is orders of magnitude more complex. So we're not going to have a complete solution to chess anytime soon, though I'll bet we will within the next 20 years. So what this guy did is constrained his brute forcing to just the follow-up to the King's Gambit to try to figure out if the King's Gambit is a worthwhile opening or not.
So that's a very, if you assume those 3 opening moves,
It's still basically unsolvable with modern computers.
Still is unsolvable, but you still have even though it's unsolvable, there's still a gigantic number of strategies that follow
Yes.
from those 3 moves. It is still exponentially less than the full game of chess.
So he did a number of things.
It's sort of like, let's map every star in the universe. That's too hard. All right, let's map every star in the galaxy. It's
That
like,
is-
sure, go for it.
That is almost just as hard on the scale of infinity.
Exactly, right? But
It's like, all right, I've got infinity and you've got infinity over 2. Well,
good job,
Great.
dude. Yeah. That's basically what's going on here.
so what they analyzed this guy. Now I want to pause here to point out something that makes this even crazier. This guy was on Slashdot before for plagiarizing GNU Chess and another chess program in his own chess program. And he's kind of hated by a lot of people.
All right.
But apparently he was disqualified from some big competition. But
So this is a sketchy chess dude. But you know what? Even though he may be sketchy in those ways, it's not as bad as the ways Bobby Fischer is sketchy.
oh my God, Bobby Fischer.
All right.
Just
so
watch the
anyway.
movie.
Yeah.
So anyway, his solution is not even a weak mathematical proof. What it is a statistical analysis of all the possible moves that pruned branches where where black in this case had an overwhelming majority. Basically, it pruned any branch that was highly likely to not result in any different behavior.
Yeah, so if if he was going down one road, one pattern of moves, and it was looking like, white had like a handful of pieces left and black had a whole bunch, it's like, okay, don't even bother calculating the rest of those patterns. We can move on to other patterns that are more likely to be, winners for the other side, right? So that, you basically calculating as few patterns as possible when the probability of finding anything down that road is not looking too good.
So there are a couple of moves. Basically, I'm debating whether or not I should actually tell you what the answer is, or I should make you go to this website.
It doesn't matter.
You know what? Go to the website and read it. The website explains how the guy did it. It's a really interesting article that covers. This is kind of how we try to solve board games. Just board games that we play have such a constrained decision space compared to chess or Go that they're actually much more eminently solvable, even by a human with a pen and paper and a calculator.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Maybe not something like a Agricola with a zillion cards.
Well, the thing is, what humans are good at is pruning branches of things
That's
that
true.
are highly likely to not pan out.
Yeah,
They're not
but the
100%
thing is,
likely.
sometimes there's an awesome gem down those roads.
Yep.
Now I'm just waiting for the forum to come and make fun of me for not knowing how to set up a chessboard.
That's fine because the Beatles is like a music note, like a beat, as opposed to the bug.
That's right.
Here, I'll read the sentence from Wikipedia. 2 sentences from Wikipedia. 3 sentences. 4.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Claim to have proven it to a 99.9999999% confidence level. That Fisher's article was nearly but not entirely correct. Blah blah blah. The search concluded that after accepting the gambit, black can force a win against all white responses except a set of 3 highly unusual responses that at best allow white to force a draw.
Mm-hmm.
So the moral, the King's Gambit is fool's errand.
So if you're white, don't make your first move moving the white pawn in front of the king too forward.
Now,
do
here's
something else.
Here's the problem with this. This is all assuming perfect play, but in history, the King's Gambit has been very powerful, and the article actually points out that if you study games, black tends to fuck up first compared to white, just in real play. Like, they'll make a theoretical mistake earlier in their play. So if you're playing white against a novice, the King's Gambit might do better than average play.
Right, but the thing is, even if you do it against a novice, right? So white is professional, black is novice. White knows this. White knows the King's Gambit's stupid, but he also knows that against novices is powerful because the other guy's going to screw up, which will make it not suck, right? So he moves that white pawn 2 forward from in front of his king. The novice isn't going to know to do the same thing.
Yeah, but that move of the pawn is a pretty powerful position in and of itself.
It is, but I'm
Granted,
just saying the other guy's not going to be smart enough to do the same thing. But he could do anything. He might move the knight first. Who knows?
I prefer the Polish opening, even though I don't believe it's terribly. I don't think many people use it anymore, but
Yeah.
I use it partly because I tend to play against novices, and they won't notice the power of my bishop.
You know what I do in chess most of the time?
Play randomly until you only have a few pieces left, and then hold out to the bitter
that's
end.
not at all.
Force a draw.
No.
Chess. You want to move the king in, move the rook out, castle.
Yeah, that's right.
You go
Because
for the
see,
castle?
I don't know any of the names of any moves or anything like that or any patterns.
But you know how to
just,
castle.
I just know all the moves. I just know the rules, except for how to set up a board properly.
Do you know all the rules, Scott? Do you know about en passant? What are all the ways?
I've heard that before.
Scott, what are all the ways a pawn can capture a piece?
You can go diagonal.
Yeah.
Right.
Or diagonal onto the piece.
Right.
There is one other very specific situation where a pawn can take a piece without moving onto it.
When you're in front of it, you move diagonal to like the side of it.
But when can you do this?
You can do it when you're like the guy's still in like his original place, like all the way on the other end, right? Or something like that.
What? No.
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 There's a time you can do it.
It has to do when it's only another pawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not if he's in his original place.
Anyway.
But
I know how all the guys move and such. So what I usually do is I move the Kniggets first because they move all cool, and they get to jump over shit.
Yeah, so basically
it's sort of like I get to it sort of feels good, right? This is how I play chess. Obviously, I'm not great.
My understanding...
It feels good to move them out because you can still leave your army of pawns up there, and it feels like you're keeping your armor on while sending out missiles.
You know what you sound
while hiding behind the shield.
Here's what you sound like. Man, I really like to just Hadouken all the time because it really works.
I'm really glad I got to use the dragon. And I like sorcerers because I like to be a magic user.
That 1,000-hand slap, I'll just use it all day.
I know, right? What? Okay.
Sometimes I'll just back up into the corner and do it.
Yep.
In fact, I go for that.
Okay.
So things of the day. Natural Selection 2, as you know, has gotten to the point where it's playable. I've been playing it a lot. I really like Natural Selection.
Well, except it's still laggy. If they'd fix the lag, it'd be great.
And I really like Natural Selection 2. It's like 80% there to be in my go-to non-Counter-Strike, non-Tribes 2 game. FPS. But one interesting thing is that it's still in beta. I'm not going to talk about all the stuff around NS2. I'm going to link to a video showing how wall jumping works for Skulks as of beta 201. Because
I think they just released 203, which is the PAX build.
Oh my God! There's a 203.
They're gonna have a big. They're gonna have a big PAX booth. They're all gonna be there, so we can harass them and say, "Hey, stop fixing this other shit like skull jumping and fix the lag, because it doesn't matter how good the skull jumping is if there's lag."
The skull jumping is pretty great.
It is great though.
And I don't know what else I can say, but if you watch this, I'm gonna say a few things that a few forumites got pissed off about, but the rest of you, whatever. One. See that constantly pulls up and see all those debug things he turns on? Yeah, that's in real PC games too. So fuck your Xbox.
That's right.
And two, I would love to see a game be able to implement something like this the way that it is implemented, with the skill set that implements it, with anything other than a mouse and keyboard.
Oh, Rim's bringing out the mouse keyboard smackdown. That's usually my job.
Now, it is not the best way for all first-person view games, but for games that test
Metroid Prime, right? Metroid Prime.
Yeah, but for games that test these kinds of skills that are designed to be this kind of game, there is no better way to play it short of some sort of like VR helmet display that... Oh my God.
VR.
I was thinking about VR5. I watched that show from day one till the end.
Troopers
on
3.
TV.
Virtual reality.
Do you know what VR5 is?
I've heard of it.
There's VR1, VR2, VR3, VR4, and then there's like VR7 where they talk to dead people.
Man, I used to watch all these stupid shows on TV that looked all kind of sci-fi technology-like, but were kind of just dumb crap, and they all got canceled. Like, you ever watch Mantis?
I didn't watch it because it was always on Sci-Fi while I was waiting for
It
something
wasn't
else to come
it wasn't
on.
on Sci. I watched it on network TV.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah, it was like
I
this,
watched reruns of
it was
Mantis
about like
on
this
Sci-Fi.
crippled dude, but he had like an exoskeleton armor thing that he would put on to go, do goody stuff. And he was awesome. And then there was Viper. There was a guy with an awesome car. It was like a rip-off of
Knight
Rider.
Nightboat.
But it sucked, and it was mostly a Dodge Viper ad.
I watched Knight Rider.
Well, Knight Rider's
religiously
actually good.
As a little, is it?
The Hoff.
Kit. It's good, but it's good in a particular
It's better
way.
than He-Man.
You could say that about almost every
I'm just saying.
act of human.
There are a lot of things you have nostalgia for that are worse than Knight Rider.
That is true. I have yet to find anything I had nostalgia for that was worse. The disparity between what I remembered and what it was for He-Man was literally the worst of anything ever.
There were other things that weren't necessarily sci-fi directly, but they had sci-fi stuff, like Briscoe County got canceled.
I like Briscoe County Jr.
And what was the other one? It was like this,
There was Young Indiana Jones.
that was awful. There was the something.
liked it.
There was the something lives of so and so, or it was like the guy. Did he have a genie? Or I can't even remember what the name of this was.
I Dream of Jeannie?
No, I Dream of Genie's good though.
Not as good as Bewitched.
Yeah, it was like the something lives of something. And
Mainly because the guy was
I
stupid.
think the guy-
He's like,
I think it was
I have
about-
an all-powerful immortal girlfriend.
It was like about a guy who was like cursed, and he had to save some number of lives.
MacGyver?
No, MacGyver wasn't cursed. This guy had to save some number of people's lives, and he lived in like a mansion or something. And
Okay, so not Quantum Leap.
it was like a Disney show. It was on ABC.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I was
gotta
just naming
find it.
shows.
I gotta find. I think it's like the 99
I
lives.
said MacGyver. I was
of-
thinking Quantum Leap. I like MacGyver.
Yeah.
Nah?
Or maybe it was like the 909 lives.
Did you see the MacGyver movie?
No, I didn't even know there's such a thing exists.
It's actually pretty good, I think.
See, now I can't remember how many lives it was.
Well, anyway, what's your thing of the day?
Oh, so usually, right, I hate April Fool's Day because April Fool's Day has become not a day of fooling people or pranking people, but a day of let's ruin our website. And
Now, some of those things are cool. Like the Google 8-bit thing I thought was really cool.
Yeah, some of the things are cool, but
but
it's
they're
just-
not April Fools.
Exactly.
We have
Right.
two holidays. We have Fuck the Internet Day, and we have April Fool's Day.
I was very happy that April Fool's Day landed on a Sunday this year.
I was very unhappy because I pull shit every year on April Fool's Day, but if I'm at home alone rendering video for PAX and Anime Boston, there's no one to fool.
Well, that's actually fooling. I'm talking about I was glad for the internet because it meant that a lot of websites, those people aren't working Sunday, and usually the internet activity goes way down on the weekend, which meant less bullshit internet faking activity, less fake news stories and nonsense. Good. But at the same time, it meant that, you're interneting less on Sunday, so if there are any good things that are fake, you might miss them, right? So far, from what I can tell, there was only one good thing that was on the internet on April Fool's Day. Now it's on YouTube. It doesn't matter whether its association with April Fool's Day is good or bad or not. It is in itself a good thing no matter what day it came out. MC Chris did a pony song. It's awesome.
Oh my god, I did not know this was a thing.
Go to YouTube.
Oh my god.
And you listen to that shit.
How did you beat me to a pony?
Right? MC Chris did a song about ponies. He must be a brony, I'm pretty sure. He's awesome anyway.
Oh my god.
Check the shit out. Thing of the day.
You yell at me for pony things of the day.
It's
Granted,
an
this is
MC
pretty-
Chris thing. It is video game day. Take that. MC Chris thing.
Last time I saw MC Chris in
Nerdcore.
concert was at Katsucon.
Katsucon.
And I remember because during the concert he said, I will stay and shake hands with as many of you as will line up to shake hands with me. And he stayed at the end of his encore, shook hands with thousands of people.
I've heard some gossips about him that are, positive or negative.
I've heard both ways.
Yeah.
When I met him.
But I mean, regardless of those gossips, dude shaking hands with everyone at the concert.
And when I met him, he seemed
And I
really
like his
cool.
music.
Actually, the only bad rumors I heard had to do with dealing with him on a professional level.
Yeah, who
But
knows?
like as a person, I heard he was awesome.
Yeah, whatever. MC Chris, he made a good song about ponies. That's all that matters right now.
So, in the meta moment, I'm gonna be at PAX.
Yeah.
PAX East 2012.
There's pretty much no other news.
And then right after that, PAX Prime 2012.
In Seattle in September.
Oh my gosh. So we're also going to be at Anime Boston 2012 for approximately 3.5 hours on Saturday.
Okay. Probably enough time. What time is that?
So here, let's talk about PAX first.
Go over the
because-
whole schedule, our schedule, so that I know what it is,
All right, the entire Geek Night schedule. So tomorrow,
including our friends.
So tomorrow on Wednesday, I'm packing my shit, and I'm going to.
I'm going to work. I'm coming home, and then I'm
gonna-
packing my shit.
I'm ironing my kilts. I'm putting all the videos on USB sticks.
I'm gonna clean my. I don't have that many clothes that are dirty, but I'm gonna do some laundry tonight.
Tonight.
Because if I wash the kilt, it'll be dry in time.
All right, so Thursday, we're gonna be in Boston from like noon onward. Now,
Mostly eating, lounging, friending, and
swimming
gaming.
and gaming.
I got bathing suit.
I got
Put
bathing suit,
Put on a checklist.
but we're gonna game. We're gonna play some games.
That's pretty much what we're gonna do for 4 days.
Luke Crane and Jared Sorensen will be about. We can play some games with them
playing games.
and the FRCF.
Playing games.
But that aside,
Eclipse.
so
All night.
first event Friday at noon in the
Well,
Tabletop
you mean Friday
Workshop
at
Theater.
10:30 keynote.
Oh yeah, I don't have the schedule of PAX stuff. I'm talking about things we're involved in.
Oh, wait
Go-
a minute. Is that noon panel that we're doing Friday overlap?
We're not doing it.
Oh, that's good.
No, we're not doing that one.
I was like, wow, does that overlap Q&A number 1?
Oh, I'm not. All right, wait, guys, if you want to know what to do at PAX other than our stuff, we've done like 4 shows. It's the same thing. Line up like 3 hours early. Go to the keynote.
Wow, this is the Rim and Scott Switch episode.
Stay for the Q&A because it's great. Ask a really weird question because it'll be funny.
Bring something from your foreign country.
Yes, then play games until you pass out. If you haven't been to the PAX concerts before, line up forever and go to them because they're fucking awesome. If you've seen them a bunch of times, skip them and play games.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's PAX. Go to the Omegathon finale. Go to the last 2 rounds of the Omegathon because they've been pretty good the last few years.
Go to the Expo Hall once.
Yeah. Don't line up to go to the Expo Hall.
There's a
'cause
cool
that's stupid.
Kickstarter room. Check it out.
Yeah. Actually, our friend Laureen Green will be in
There's
there.
going to be a lot of cool stuff in there.
As will the company that Emily and a bunch of the FRC people and friends all work at.
Joshua
News
A.C.
Games.
Newman's going to have Mobile Frame Zero in there.
Yeah.
It's going to be the happening room.
Oh, he's on a panel that's not on our schedule here,
Oh.
along with Luke, but oh well.
Oh, well.
So Friday at noon, Luke Crane of Soren Crane, guy who made Burning Wheel, is doing a panel called What is Burning Wheel?
Nice panel.
At 6 p.m. Oh, no, wait. So at 4:30 p.m. on Friday in panel 309 at Anime Boston, we are performing the How to Run a Panel panel, but we are performing via telepresence because we cannot actually be there for it. So we will not actually be at Anime Boston in the flesh on Friday. At 6 p.m. on Friday at PAX in the Tabletop Workshop Theater, we will be doing the Geeknights board game workshop where we will teach you not just how to play, but how to motherfucking win Agricola, Carcassonne, and one other game.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be awesome.
It will be pretty great.
The
I'm looking
Tabletop
forward to
Workshop
that the
Theater
most.
has a raised stage, seats for like 60 people, and it has tables ready to play games. It is a workshop room for tabletop stuff. There's a huge schedule, all con in there.
Yeah. We need to set up some sort of Ghetto Elmo with the webcam type situation.
I'm on top of that.
All right.
The con might also be on top of that.
Nice.
So, at 10 p.m. on Friday in the Arachnid Theater,
Arachnid.
Going Cardboard, the documentary on board games by our friend Lauren Green of TCAT Productions, will be screened, and there will be a Q&A either before or to follow. I forget which.
Mm-hmm.
We might show up and say hi, answer some questions, shake some hands. Don't ask us to autograph it. We didn't make it. Lauren Green made it.
That's right.
Ask her and or
We
Rainer
were in it
Knizia.
for like 5 minutes. And we don't even deserve that.
So Saturday's the big day. At 10 a.m., Jared Sorensen is doing Spooky Manor in the Tabletop Workshop. That's like Action Castle, but way fun. Not that Action Castle
I think
isn't
it's
fun.
one of the hardest ones, too.
I think so, too.
Mm.
I think Space Station's my
Space Station's
favorite.
the hardest.
I like it a lot, though.
Yeah.
At 4:30 p.m., we are doing our one lecture at PAX as opposed to a panel or a workshop. Let's play money-making game in the Cat Theater. We will be talking about how you have a vision. You want to make a game, but you also need money. And the way you make money will
By playing the money-making game.
will totally fuck up your vision.
That's right.
Then at 6 p.m., Luke Crane in the Tabletop Workshop Theater is doing the D&D you never knew. His argument is that, we indie RPGers trash on D&D legitimately, but if you play old D&D as it's written,
No one ever plays D&D as it's written.
like second ed or earlier, and he's talking about early D&D. It is way fun. It is just not the kind of game people try to make D&D.
Yeah.
Play it by the book, and it is a way fun game in and of itself.
I really always want to play it by the book, but no one else does.
So overlapping with that, at the Penny Arcade Expo at 6 o'clock p.m., we are doing motivational anime at Anime Boston. We're talking about like Initial D and Drops of God and all that stuff.
You know how when you read those shonen mangas that are about a thing, like golf or something, and it makes you really want to do that thing?
Maybe if you shouldn't do that thing.
Yeah, we're talking about all those.
And then right after that in the same room, we're doing Diamonds in the Rough. All the anime that either was just shy of glory, but you should watch anyway, or the anime that is perfect for you, but you would never even think to watch it.
So this is all early Saturday, right?
6 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. are those two.
Oh, on Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it on Saturday.
Alrighty.
On Sunday, Jungle Adventure and Z-Ward, two Parsley games, are at 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. respectively in the Workshop Theater.
Oh, going late Sunday.
Yeah. We will be at the Omegathon finale during all that.
That's right.
After getting some tasty brunch.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, PAX.
I feel like there's just so much going on the weekend. I'm not going to have enough time to do everything I want to do, which is making me almost be like, no.
Don't worry.
We need a fourth day.
There's another PAX in like 6 months. And you know what? Not that long after that is MagFest.
At least that PAX won't have an Anime Boston at the same time or anything like that.
Oh my god. If it does, well, we'll deal with it.
All right.
So, Angry Birds Space. It's pretty fun.
It's pretty good.
It's about the same, I don't know, I enjoy it in the same way that I enjoyed the original Angry Birds. I find myself playing it when I'm pooping, when I'm waiting for the subway to take me somewhere while I'm listening to a podcast.
That's the same time I'm playing. Actually, I beat it.
You beat it. I am most of the way through the Ice World because I haven't played it that much.
Well, beat it depends on what you know.
Yeah, Scott, I mean, clearly you've gotten 3 stars on everything and all the golden eggs.
Yeah, no, I've never done that. Nor would I. No, I know people who have. It's the thing about Angry Birds. It's like, you can sort of play it any way you want, right? Some people, they just play it to beat all the levels. That's what I do, right? Other people, they actually play it and they try to get 3 stars on everything. And it's like, are you kidding me? That would take so much time. Forget it.
What, are you just terrible at Angry Birds?
Maybe if I had... See, here's the thing. I'm playing it on an iPhone. You're playing it on your, Nexus S, right?
Yep.
If you were playing it on a tablet, like an iPad, it's so much bigger. You have so much more precision in the control because you have such a larger area. It's like lower mouse sensitivity.
So,
right?
Scott, if you want to do it...
you can actually get a much higher score, I think,
Scott, you
want to
really do it,
iPhone.
play the HTML5 version on a PC
That's
with a
right.
mouse.
You could
Click.
Yep, that's the way to get the highest score. But I don't think that they have an HTML5 version of Angry Birds Space.
So, I've never paid for an Angry Birds. I'm just playing the one where occasionally a stupid ad pops up.
No, I always pay. It's $1, right? And I think about it, and I'm like, should I pay the $1? And then I think about it, and I'm like, you know what? I've thrown away a $1. Like, isn't even a bagel. And it's like, I bought a bagel this morning. It's like, what am I going to get more pleasure from? That bagel that I got from a street cart for $1? Or
so, Scott,
this Angry Birds?
The new
so
deli...
if it's worth it for me to buy the bagel for $1, it's worth it to buy Angry Birds for $1.
Scott, the deli that opened up downstairs... I can get a breakfast that is like pancake, home fries, some meat like bacon or sausage, and coffee or juice for exactly $2.
$2?
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
$2
motherfucking dollars.
Oh my God. Because for me, I go get bacon, egg, and cheese on a everything bagel. That's $3.45.
Yeah, the place downstairs is way cheap.
Is it good?
I don't know. The lunch is okay though.
Even so, right? If I'm going to spend $2 on that, even though that might be good, I can spend $2 on that.
You're not going to play with that food while you're pooping. And that is where Angry Birds fills a niche.
That's right.
Angry Birds is just this nice, confluence of good character design with simple gameplay and a really effective pricing and marketing model.
Yeah, it's also, it's sort of in this weird in-between space, right? Like, it's not stupid Farmville where you're not actually doing anything. You're just clicking and upgrading things with no skill or knowledge, right?
It is a game of skill.
There is, but it's the skill matters only a little bit, right? Because it's mostly problem-solving skill, which is where should I shoot which bird in which direction to, get the most damage done so that all the pigs are destroyed by the time I'm done with these birds. So you sort of have to figure it out based on the lay of the land.
It taps into the same urge that makes you smash a Lego thing as soon as you build it.
But there is some sort of randomness and luck, right? You'll do the same exact thing 3 or 4 times, but you'll be slightly off a little bit, and it makes all the difference in the world because of the physics engine. It's the Box 2D physics engine. So it's not some precise thing where there is an exact answer and you can do the exact same move over and over again. It's like you'll do the exact same strategy, and you just happen to hit like a micro speck higher, and that causes a boulder to fall a different direction.
Timing matters
so
a lot
one extra
more
dynamite goes off
in the new Angry Bird space than the old one because
there are things that move.
Yeah, and I've watched them just keep moving. I've had to time my birds around. Like I bust something, and it's like wagging back and forth. I got to shoot a bird over it.
There's also a lot of situations. The gravity is the biggest thing, right? You think obviously the gravity of the planets affects the trajectory of the birds orbiting the planets, doing a slingshot. That's the obvious thing, right? You can tell that right from the first screen. The thing that's key that people don't realize is the gravity crushes the pigs as they get pulled into the planets. There'll be pigs floating between a planet. So if you just nudge them so they get into the gravity field, they'll slam into the planet and die.
Yep, or I'll like bop a rock into the atmosphere and it'll circle around and kill them all. I don't have to hit any birds in there.
Yeah, or there'll be a meteor outside the gravity field. You'll bump the meteor into the gravity, or the asteroid into the gravity field. Then it will accelerate
That's
towards...
what I just said.
Yeah, accelerate towards the planet, not around the planet.
Well, it'll go around in a spiral and then smash everything.
Yeah, there's also the new ice bird. Anything he touches turns to ice. And then, of course, obviously, that opens things up for the bluebird, who's excellent at smashing ice. So you ice something that's like heavy rocks, then you bring the bluebird in and he smashes it up. Yep. But there's another thing you can do with the ice thing. If you ice up some stuff that's under some heavy rocks and it's in a gravity field, now those heavy rocks will crush the ice immediately, bringing the whole thing down towards the planet.
He also has much better timing than similar things in the first game where you can skim him off of something, it'll ice it a little, and you've got some leeway before you have to, make him go full ice.
Yep.
So you can skim one thing, have it like skip off, leave some ice, and then smash into something else into the full ice.
Yeah, you can get some extra ice out of him. He doesn't just, ice in one
Kind of like how
go.
in the old game you drop the white bird with the little egg. Like you drop it.
I'm
the
so
egg
glad the white
something.
bird is not in this game.
Well, I love that bird.
He's my most hated bird.
I hated the fucking boomerang bird.
Boomerang bird is also not in this game. Good, thank God. Fuck those birds.
No, but I love the white bird because I drop him down under something and then drop the egg so he'd fly up and hit something and the egg would fly down and hit something.
If I was working for Rovio, you know what I would come out with? I would come out with not a full game, but just a level set, and the level set would be Angry Birds Black. Nothing but Black Bird. But to make up for the fact that it'd be too easy with nothing but Black Bird, it's like the pigs have built the biggest fortresses. Like they're just like 6 rocks deep. And like you got to smash your way in there, with all black birds. It would be the best.
I'm waiting for versus Angry Birds where you've got, imagine if you had 2 planets or 2 things. And like, this wouldn't be a phone game anymore. I guess it could be.
Yeah.
Where I'm shooting birds at you and you're shooting birds at me in real time. And I got pigs to protect and you got pigs to protect. So I'm trying to kill your pigs.
That's not how I would do it. What I would do is I would put pigs in the middle, right?
Who kills the most?
And I would have simultaneously firing 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh.
Right?
So you set a trajectory and then you both hit, you go, they go, and then...
Right, but the question is, let's say we both hit something, right? A tower, and the tower collapses on a pig. Who gets the points?
Maybe it's co-op. And there's some where you have to time everything right.
Co-op is excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent idea.
I think that'll all come. If they, I would invest in them if I could.
Yeah. Is there anything else to say about Angry Birds? Oh, that's right. So, I was sort of under the assumption when I paid my $1 for it that I was getting the whole game. But that was like, if you buy Angry Birds Seasons, you pay the $1, you get the whole game. And you keep getting updates too. Like since I've gotten them, they keep adding seasons to Angry Birds Seasons and it costs nothing. Right? They just keep adding them all the time. And I suspect they will continue to add them for as long as they exist, which is awesome because I don't have to pay any more money. Angry Birds Space, I paid $1. And you got level 1, and you got level 2, but then there's another level, the Danger Zone. And the Danger Zone was not included in that first $1 I paid.
BS.
I had to pay another $1.
Oh my God, now it's the cost of that breakfast.
Exactly. Which is still, I paid the other $1. If they would have just said from the beginning, Angry Birds Space, $2, I would have paid the $2, no question. And I would not have been angry because I would not.
Scott's an angry Scott
right.
now.
I'm not angry because it's $2 or the $2 wasn't worth it. I'm only angry because, yeah, Angry Bird, right? Because I was deceived, right? They didn't tell me, hey, you're paying $1 for half of Angry Bird space. They said you're paying $1 for Angry Bird space. And then later they're like, oh, just kidding. You didn't actually pay $1 for Angry Bird space. You paid $1 for half of Angry Bird space. That's like if I went to the car dealership and they said, here, this car is $1,000. I say, okay, here's $1,000. And then I go to pick up the car and the wheels are missing. They're like, yeah, minus the wheels.
That's exactly what they do, except instead of having things missing.
If they would have said minus the wheels and the whole car actually cost $1,500, I would not have complained.
They'll put extra stuff on there and be like, oh, yeah, you got to pay for this too.
Yeah, it's bullshit. Just friggin' tell me that, just tell me that Danger Zone is not included from the get-go. Say $1 Angry Bird space minus Danger Zone. So at least it's not false advertising.
Anyway, there's not much else to say. Fun game. It's worth the $1 or the free. And we're going to be at PAX.
Yeah.
PAX is coming.
Yep.
PAX.
All right.
PAX. PAX.
It's enough faxing.
No, it's not. There's never enough faxing. This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geeknights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.